this? How's your view? How about now? Oh yeah. We're gonna go at the bottom. We're gonna go right at the bottom. Oh God, we're on air, bud. We're on air. First things first, with the SSI belt drive assembly install video here, I wanted to go ahead and measure the lead-in or twist of this current stock setup, and then also see where we were at angle-wise of both primary and secondary clutches here. So to give you guys some background on the Polaris sleds, when we use the TRS alignment bar and all that stuff, we shoot for about 20 to 30 thou of forward engine lead-in, so that way when it's under power, the engine rocks back and everything is in alignment. Again, 20 to 30 thou, sometimes 40 on the really big power, big boost stuff, but most of the time we're shooting for 20 to 30. So I don't have a fancy alignment bar for doing the catalyst stuff here. We just have a nice piece of 1/8" angle iron with some holes in it so we can get the caliper through to the secondary clutch faces here and off of the front of this. So we're not really checking our offset of the two. We're just checking the twist right now. So with this on here, I've clamped this in multiple different locations, taken multiple different readings. Oh God, we're on air, bud. We're on air. I know, I need a sign for that. Aside from the riffraff pulling in here, after all the measurements, we're looking at 66 to 65 thou of rearward twist in. So that would be the same as like on the Polaris stuff, you would have engine twist rearward. So our secondary clutch, this guy, is inward 66 to 65 thou, which is about twice the spec that we want to see. So that's not really great, you know, with that twisted, the belt's riding all crooked in there and it's getting side loaded and we're getting a lot of heat and we're losing efficiency there. So that's gonna be big to correct that with the whole belt drive assembly there. And then in terms of the angular difference, we were like 0.2 to 0.3 degrees. The primary most of the time, depending on where on the cover I was measuring, was 88.4 to 88.6 degrees. And then the secondary on this outer machine surface pretty much everywhere was 88.9 to 90 degrees. So we were only off a couple there. I don't know how big of a difference we're gonna see there putting the kit on, but once I dig into this and swap it over, we're gonna find out. Now I'm gonna go deal with the riffraff over here. I'm gonna start talking at the camera here, so you know, and I'll just try to pause around whenever you're running the ratchet and whatnot, and we'll do whatever we can, you know, you keep doing you. Just don't be surprised when you hear me continue to mumble and talk at the camera while I'm starting to pull this thing apart here. You good with that? To do the whole belt drive assembly in here and swap all that out, I'm gonna have to put it up and definitely at least loosen the track tension. I don't know, I haven't looked up under here and everything yet. I don't know if we have to pull the driver out to get to some of the hardware holding this inner case to the tunnel. We'll figure that out as we get there, but definitely hood, side panels, muffler out of the way, the usual stuff. I guess I might as well cover the majority of that. We've done it in past videos, but people don't want to always go back and check out all the past videos. So you gotta pull your toe holds out, a bunch of T25s down in here. Well, a couple here, a couple on the underside, and pull all this stuff apart. Same thing on the other side, hood panel, twist in the front, electrical connector up under here. Do that guy there. Pretty simple, quarter turn here. We pulled the retainers off because they got messed up and mangled anyway. So you do that, and then you gotta give this guy a turn and a wiggle, pull, windshield jobby, and off we go. You're good, yeah, go for it, you're fine. So I think I'll be able to talk through all this and the noise, but whatever. T25 here, one up top there, and then you've got one down here, and I think one more at the back right here. Yeah, be careful putting these back in. They will kind of strip the little retainer, their coarse thread. If you go full bore with one of these boys, you will strip those out. So on reassembly, just be careful of that. Oh yeah, you got another one up here. Forgot about that guy. And then you turn, twist, wiggle on out. I have heard with the hardcore running boards, it's way more difficult getting those in and out, but I can't confirm that because I haven't worked on one with those. All right, and this guy, just give it a little wiggle. Slide job, and off you go. Toe hole on the other side, same exact thing. So you repeat that. Muffler sensor, just unscrew it, tuck it out of the way. 2 springs, move the pipe over, pull the muffler out. A couple big clips. You pull your little retainers here. Boop. Move those, and then you wiggle worm that thing up out of there. Oh boy, the old spring tool. I usually pull the other one over here on the back side, clutch guard to the pipe. Yoink. All right, these are in the wrong order. Who did that? Not me. Alternatively, you could cut a couple zip ties and just unplug it. But I like pulling it out of the muffler, especially since with the turbo kit, we're gonna have to move it anyway. Oh, here's our doing it. And just like that. So once we got the muffler out, we just keep going with our traditional disassembly of the OEM belt drive stuff here. 10mm bolt on the top. You got your special nut, socket, tool jobby here. You can get a Cat 1 or SP1 or SPI or whatever. I've put this part number in the track swap video. I can pull it and I'll put it in here again for that. You can also just take a big chisel, you know, a little air hammer and a chisel if you're good with it, and hit the nut and blast those 2 off. I believe TKI makes a 1-piece nut with a pinch bolt in it too, which I kind of like that, but I have not ordered one or anything. So socket, I go through here with a big impact and off we go. You waiting on me over there? Just take the old Nitro Cat and blast it. Who cares? Just want to make sure you're holding inward on it. And then they spin good for a while, and then they hit the plastic. And they tighten right back up. But usually you can just thread them off by hand. There she goes. Now I'll go ahead, and I think these are T30s if I remember right. You got 1, 2, 3 there, and you can roll the tension off of the belt. Then continue to go. You could take this nut all the way off. It would be fine. But order of operations and that disassembly doesn't matter a whole lot. Do a roll. There we go. So yeah, once you have your hardware off top and bottom, just give them a wiggle, a little one of these, and off you go. And with the kit, we will be reusing our OEM belt, I believe with certain gear ratios, and that's one of the other big bonuses you've got with this SSI kit is you can go pretty much anywhere you want with gear ratios. The ones that we're using on both this and my personal RXC, we're reusing the stock belt. I believe depending on ratio, they do have different size belts and stuff. I'm not positive on that. So depending on what gear ratio you're running, check with them. They'll get you all set up. You got to order the belt drive kit from them anyway. So might as well go over your gearing with them when you're ordering that. And I'm going to move on to pulling the track tension off, looking up in there. I'm probably just, since I have to do the skid swap and everything anyway, I'm probably just going to pull the skid and the track and everything right out because I've already measured all my points. So I'll probably just do that. Skid and everything right out of it, get up in here. Driver will be out. And then I'll have all the room I need to get up into there. Except for this guy. This guy back here is going to be a tricky one. I'm kind of pumped you're in the background doing that right now. It's pretty good, dude. Just got off the phone with Brady out at SSI there and just making sure I have everything sorted in terms of the order of operations of pulling all this apart. You're going to want your T30s back in the eccentric bearing to hold that to the inner case. And then we're going to have to flip over to the other side. We're going to pull the primary clutch off, and then we're going to pull the whole TCL plate off. So you have your primary clutch. You've got 4 10s, I think they are. Maybe they're 3/8. I'm pretty sure they're 10s, but we'll check in a minute. 4 10s on the bottom of the TCL. You have a 10 and a 13, 10mm bolt, 13mm nut on the top. Once we pull the TCL off, we pull the whole jack shaft right out, and then continue on with all of this stuff. And then also yank the skid clean out, pull the track up and all that around the driver, pull the driver out, and then you can get right to all those bolts. Super easy, and off we go. So we're going to slam these T30s back into this eccentric here to hold that. Bonk. 2 is good enough. And then, yeah, we'll hop over to the other side, blast that apart, and keep moving on. For your primary, you need a little, well, I'll say a little T60. Snap that out of there. There we go. About to give it the water. Can I help you?
Where's your,
Let go. Oh, God, I got it. Shoo. Check, yep, 10. 80's the 10. Hey. He's going to spin. Oh. Ooh, is this captured? Oh, it is. This, so 13 back here is captured. Sick. That's nice. I didn't think that was captured. Oh yeah, big capture job on that. No, come back. Bam. Come to Papa. Oh yeah, look at that. Here we go. Okay, back onto track tension. I got stuff everywhere on the benches. Not good for my brain, but where'd my extension go? There you are. Why is that there? That goes up there. That goes there. This here. Whoa! All right, there's that. Let this down till we just barely touch. We'll blast those little 13s out of the rear torque arm. There we go. This side doesn't have a flat on it. Not a problem. Ta-da! Oh, where'd the bolt go? But I don't know, we'll figure it out. There we go. Whew. Good riddance. See you later. Back over here on the brake side, you got a snap ring, and then you've got 4 bolts from the inside, 4 more 10s from the inside into the housing. And then you can walk that right off of there, pull the drive shaft out. I like to keep the slide action torque arm front shaft in because it helps hold the track up off of the driver and whatnot while you're messing around in there. Makes it a little bit easier than having to hold the track up while you get in there. So I leave that in until the very last, then we'll blast that out, track out of there. Then we can continue on getting the inner bolts out of the case. Get my little blanket and I'll get up under there and blast some bolts out. Let's see. That's gonna have to go. Ow. Hopefully that ratchet strap holds and this thing doesn't crush my head. I can't see because I gave you guys the good angle. We're working blind. We're working blind. All right, we're just gonna have to do it. Hopefully it doesn't fall. I'm going the wrong way. Ow, going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. So you got this rubber thingy here. You got to do like a little quarter turn on it. Quarter turn on this rubber dangus. Get it out of its little groove. Push it back onto the drive shaft. That way you can move the shaft through the hole and out. We got 1 bolt, 2 bolt. For some reason I thought there were 4. I guess there's only 3 in here. Where is that? What the hell, boy? There we go. There it is. Do that. Those 3, and then you can just walk the old caterpillar off of the thing. Then you just gotta do this. Hey! Why are you doing this? Stop fighting me. Just wiggle. Hey. Come on. Come on. Push the shaft back if it moves. Well, I like to try and leave the rotor in. That way if someone's in your shop, you got the riffraff comes in, they lean on the sled and they grab the brake. If the rotor's still in, it can't push the pistons all the way out. So I try to leave it just like that. And then let's do this number. And there's your driver. Ta-da! Now all that's left is a 13 on each side for the front torque arm mounting shaft, which we won't be reusing that on this project. Just grab it with some pliers underneath 13, go over there, do the same thing. And off we go. We'll drag the track out. We'll lay back under here, get the inner case bolts out, and then fight with the one up in the top that's a real pain, and hopefully get the case off tonight. And that'll probably be it for the night, but we'll see how it goes. On the wobblies, probably not gonna be a good idea. That's barely long enough. Dude, this one sucks. It's not good. All right, we're onto it. As you can kind of see, I can't get my whole hand in there. Oh, we got it. That ain't bad. Problem is, you're doing that 1/16 of an inch with the Loctite. So hopefully, it's not a very long one. And I don't know how I'm ever going to get it started again. We'll get there eventually. Oh no, I lost my spot. Son of a... I think if I take these T30s out, this eccentric will fall right down, and then I might be able to go in like this to hold my tool. I'm gonna try something. Hang on. Do you just fall out? No. What if we... No. It does fall out. I don't know what the hell's going on. Look at that. Look at the opening in there now, dude. Woo, baby. So that does fall out. Once the case is out of here, we'll pull that right out. But we're gonna do this number. How's this? Is this gonna be better or worse? It's like the eye doctor. What's better, 1 or 2? Oh, 1 or 2. 2 or 1. Oh yeah, this is the move right here. Except the Loctite. It's a little stiff. Oh, we're flying. Oh, we're flying. You know what? How's our frame? How's our framage? I'm gonna back you up a little bit. Let's take this. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, okay. You go in there and... will ya? Oh, look at this. This is gonna be your move. Leave those T30s out, so when you pull your jack shaft out, that eccentric just kind of hangs out in that pocket right there. And then you can pretty much get in here and do this. This little Cobalt kit, you can get at Lowe's. I think they're like 35 bucks or something like that. And then this actually probably has a T30 in it that you can use for this. You go right through here. And even if this thing's stubborn, right, you can get a hand in, hold the pressure on the bit, put this here, and then you can probably even get a screwdriver or something in here, pry down or up to move that down to break free. But this is the move right here. You can even do this number. Nope, this is better. Then you just do this. Bolt out, boom. It doesn't even have Loctite on it. Why did it come out so hard? One more little tray for all of our case hardware. This feller here is 10mm bolt with a spacer to this upper motor mount. And on the mag side here, the 13mm nut does spin. So we're gonna need a short little stubby 13 through the upper access hole here that we've created by removing the eccentric bearing. Hold the wrench. Luckily it's just a nylock with no Loctite on it, so it is moving pretty free. Get the stubby, we should be able to hold it with just some little light action in there. So do this number through here. And pray we don't drop any of this stuff into the abyss. This guy, oh yeah, that ain't bad. Not too bad. I'm gonna check this a couple times. Yeah, so we're out of the nylock. Rather than drop this down underneath, I'm gonna get a magnet placed right below the nut already. So that way I can just kind of spin it off of here and miss the magnet entirely, but there's plenty of room. We can just do that number there. It doesn't have any pressure on it. Why is it? Kind of weird. Underneath to our T30s, and then we're almost got everything apart and the old case off. How's the view there? You got a good one or what? How about now? Oh yeah, good enough for who it's for, you know? This guy, that guy, that guy. All of them. All of these you see here, you gotta blast them out. I'm blocking you? No, you're good. What's that? That spacer fall down maybe? Let me go check. So that little spacer fell out between the mag mount and the case. This little guy, throw that in our bin so we don't lose it. Actually, let's do this. Throw it on our bold. These here bold holes, yeah, so that case is weeble wobbling all around out there. You got the idea. Last bolt, I'm gonna move the camera out there so you can see that whole thing kind of fall right off. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Wires, we're gonna go at the bottom. We're gonna go right at the bottom. Ta-da! So that covers everything that you gotta do to get your stock inner belt drive case out of the machine. Really wasn't that bad. This is my first time going through it, so as you saw, you got to follow along with everything there. I'm in a good spot to stop, so I'm gonna call it for the night. The lift is down on the locks. Gotta clean up a little bit here, do a tool reset. In the morning, I'm gonna try to rearrange the mess behind me and get a little bit more space in there. But either way, not a bad deal at all. I have the new bearings from SSI for the new case. You can reuse your old ones from the eccentric and the lower of the factory inner case, but I'm gonna go ahead, I got the new ones from them. I'm gonna put those in the freezer overnight, leave the case out in the ambient room temp, and that way tomorrow when I go to assemble all those, they should fly right in. So we do need to steal the spiral snap rings or lock rings from the factory case. We'll cover that in the morning when we get there, but that covers this part. I'm gonna clean up. You guys will see everything in the morning, and I'll see you then, or what, I don't know, whatever, dude. We'll flash into the next clip. I'm out of here for the night. All that I have left to really show you guys is going to be pulling out the snap ring or lock rings of these. They're not a traditional pinchy or separating snap ring, they're a spiral lock style. So you got one in the lower case we got to steal, and then you've got one on the back side of the eccentric bearing here we got to pop out of there. We got to fish those out and then put the new case, new inner case assembly into the sled, start all the bolts, get all that going, bolt that thing up, and then I'm gonna put the bearings in. I'm not gonna do that before because I want the opening in the top of the case to get that one really difficult bolt in. So, set up the camera, show you guys pulling these little retainers out, and then we'll get to putting the whole case in and going from there. So, let's get into it. You're gonna wanna clean all the greases out, all the excess that you can. What? Let's see, how do I want to do this? We'll take our device, get this going. So I'm going to zoom in via this. We'll just overlay these here. You got that little tab, you got to get a flathead screwdriver under that. Once you get under that little tail there, you just keep walking that ring all the way around. Usually they're in here 2 or 3 layers. Yeah, it looks like maybe 2 on this one. I don't know. But you just kind of get under it and work that out, both sides. Keep them separate because they are different sizes, obviously. And that's kind of it. There's really not anything too complex to them. Sometimes they're a little sticky. There you go. Not so bad, not so bad. There we go. It's almost like a little mini slinky kind of deal. What are you doing? Getting your rig? I'm probably gonna have to move my truck. I think I got the trailer blocked in. He's bringing his 1200 in to get started on that. So once you get both of those out, if you were reusing your bearings, this is where you'd have to flip it over and try to get it out. The problem is you can't push on the actual outer race. So you're gonna be pushing on the inner race to try and drive it out of here, which could, you know, put too much deflection in it and kind of take your bearing out. So if you were to do that, I would recommend just taking a MAP gas and heating this up and then driving on that, and hopefully it comes out and doesn't mess the bearing up. Or if you're going through all this work, just buy new bearings, because that's the right way to do it. Same with this. You can't really get to the outer race. You're stuck on the inner. But that is for you to do and decide, not me. Unless you're bringing it to me to do it. Then I'm putting new bearings in. Kind of silly not to, but ever what. We got our slinkies cleaned up. Take this, throw that in the scrap bin down there. And now, back down to the sled we go to start putting the inner case in. With your new case, I keep calling it a case, someone's probably gonna have an issue with that, but whatever. With your new case, you get some new hardware here. I don't know, they appear to be the same thread pitch, but either way, I'm gonna do a different tray for these, keep them separate. So the 4 and the one center one are gonna be different hardwares than what you took out. And then the rest, I'm assuming, are all the same. This guy's crazy. He just got this thing. He's beating it on the lawn. Don't. Okay. Oh, man. Dude, on the dirt, spinning the rocks, that poor tunnel. Why are you spinning on the dirt, on the rocks? Your poor tunnel. I'm testing, he says. Yeah, okay. With your new inner case here, the new hardware is shorter, significantly shorter than you've actually got 4 for the lower that are one size. Your upper middle one here is the shortest of them all. And then like this is the very short one compared to one of the stock ones. So that's why you're getting different hardware there. Again, these 4, here. Hopefully this punches in, there's nothing behind me and this works. You got 4 that are this length that go down low by the bearing in the lower gear, and then your shortest goes in the middle. So pay attention to that. I'm assuming there will be issues with the belt and the tension and all that stuff if you use all the stock ones and they're sticking through. So use the hardware they sent you. They sent it to you for a reason. So with this new setup here, the factory bolts, none of them appeared to have Loctite on them. I mean, they got some gray, like oxidization. This one had some Loctite actually, but it doesn't look, I mean, there wasn't much. If there was, it wasn't much. So I'm using Loctite on all the new ones. I'm gonna take the shortest one first so I don't mess it up. I'm out of my orange high vibration Loctite, unfortunately. I can't reach. I can't reach. Where are you? Bruh, I can see my finger. Oh God, I'm falling over. It's too early for these acrobatics. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, we're starting, Jesus. All right, under I go to get the rest of these going, but you get the idea. Get all your bolts started. Start all of them before you tighten it up, obviously. And yeah, we're gonna get all these started, snug them up, and then it's onto the bearings. Once you get that first one in, I'm looking at this under here right now, you don't really have, ow, my head, hardly any room for misalignment. The tolerance on all the fit up of this new SSI case with the stock holes is very, very accurate. So you have way less room for misalignment and stuff in here, which is really nice to see. And again, make sure you do your new hardwares in the right spots. This is the last little T30 I gotta start from back in here somehow. How am I gonna do this? What about a magnet? Oh, you got that little, yeah, I know what I need. Okay, little bendy magnet. Let's try this. Let's do this. Oh yeah, look at that, huh? How am I do this? Oh, look at me go. Big brain move there. Oh, so that's staying. Rather than drop that and try to do the old, we're just gonna get our tool back out, our very trusty, handy dandy Cobalt. Ow, you little bastard. This is gonna be tricky because our opening's not as big now, but that's all right. Oh. Oh, don't do this to me, don't do this to me. It's right there. Oh, why are you fighting me? We're misaligned just a little. Oh, baby. think it looks crooked. Nope, 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 we're there. So, a little magnet, a little bit of this action is probably good practice for some of you guys out there. And yeah, we'll get there eventually. So before I go and start snugging up the rest of these, I'm gonna get the M8125 long one started here. Old nylock bolt is going in the trash, and we're using a new one to do a little bit of a I'm gonna snug the rest of those a little bit more first. So I gotta move the engine up, and I don't want that to be all side loaded with some of these with the minimal engagement they've got started on them. Everything on the case inside, and this tough one here is all tight. We're paint marked on all of them except for this guy, because you can't see it in there anyway. So now, get this guy started. Oh, she tightened right up like I told you. Far enough. Oh, that'll work. Probably, maybe. Oh, you mother effer. There we go. Oh. There we go. And which way we gotta go here? I can't seize it. Like that, boom. Little bar, little of this, little of that, little of this, little of that. Get that through there. New nylock, and then I'm going to use fingers, ratchet with the 10. Hopefully, we don't lose this guy into the abyss again. Ta-da. All right, there you go. Come on. There's probably gonna be some sort of turbo kit oil line stuff that would have been way easier to do with this case out of the way. But yeah, that's the way it goes. I gotta do this in stages for the video stuff, and I don't wanna get too far ahead and whatnot and be jammed up. The whole theory here is belt drive, skid swap, and then that way if I run out of time before our first trip, turbo stuff doesn't have to go on. That's kind of the backup plan. So that's why we're doing it in those steps there. And again, I'm sure, I think I have to get to that main oil feed line there, which is probably gonna be a lot easier if this case were out of the way. But it is what it is. There's gotta be some way to do it with everything in there. We'll see, I bet the whole tank, whatever. We'll deal with that when we get there. But our case is installed. Now we just gotta get onto the bearings. So I'll go grab those out of the freezer. We'll get the map gas, we'll warm this up, knock those in, and then fight with the locks, and then that'll probably be about it for the video, but let's keep going. So we got our nice cold bearings here, all froze up. We're gonna do just a tiny little bit of that on each of these. This, so it helps them go in just a little bit. You don't, ow. I'm hoping I can just warm this, blast these in, because I don't have a bearing driver set handy or the right, I looked through our ball joint kit real quick. I don't have the right diameters, no sockets big enough. So if I have to, I'm gonna use a punch on the edge of the outer race and drive them the rest of the way in, which requires being careful, but we'll be fine, we'll be fine. We're gonna heat these up, they're gonna just fly right in there. Should have a bearing driver. I'm gonna need a hammer too, aren't I? Look at that. That's what you want to see right there. A little freeze and heat trick, and we just slide them right in. Beauty. Repeat on the top side here. You'll be careful because you got your tank right there and flame going through. So you get the angles on this guy. Keep it in the case. Keep the fire in the case. Look at this motion right here, dude. Buddy's got motion. That's probably all right. Oh, like a dream, dude. Hammers. Now, how hot are we still? Oh, not bad at all. Perfect. We get our little split rings into the channel there. And these, you just, I don't know, you just push them, wiggle them, twist them in there. Like that. That's kind of it. And then you can take this, make sure, see that? You just push them, make sure they're seated all the way in, push your tail backwards, and you're done. One more on the top, and then I'm gonna take lunch. Ow, top is still a little warm. We're gonna get burnt? No, we're all right, we're all right, we're all right. Get in there. Okay. Reassemble however you want from here. Torque specs, you're kind of on your own looking all that stuff up, or use your best judgment. Tighten it up. Tight is tight, too tight's broke. Okie dokie, you're gonna see the skid out of this thing still and all that stuff. The new Pro CC setup is all mocked up, the mounts are done and all that. Bouncing back and forth on stuff here. All good to go, about to put the upper jack shaft and everything back in. Upper, there's only one. Putting the jack shaft TCL back in. A little bit of grease on the inner race of the bearing over here. And then pretty much just fish that whole unit back in. I think all this is good to go. Take some compressed air and blow the little blind holes out here for the lower TCL mount. Get all the old Loctite dust and everything out of there. Ooh, that's not cool. We got a big chafe mark into this lower coolant hose. What would even be hitting on that? That's weird. One of the bolts for the jackshaft bearing, I guess. I'm gonna have to dig into that real quick. We'll be back in a minute. All right, so here's that big chafe. Luckily it's not leaking. It's not cool though, don't love that. Gonna have to order up one of those and replace that in a week or two. But yeah, that is from this little boss right here on the jackshaft bearing support. You can see how shiny that is. So I'm gonna take the band file and whip that down so that doesn't hit anymore. That's not very cool. So that's something to check when you guys pull all this apart. I didn't see it on the way out, but caught it on the way back in. So yeah, clean that up and then we'll get back to reassembling. A little band file action, little sandpaper action, smooth this guy right out. You can see, even with the factory bolt and everything, you got about 1/8 of an inch that you can take that down till you get to the bolt like this. That should be enough clearance. This focuses up. Yeah, there you go, switch lenses. There, so smoothed up, good to go. That should be enough to keep it off the hose. Back at it we go. Let's try this again, see if we see anything crazy on our way back through. Hopefully I can line this up first try here, not do anything dumb. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There we go. Where's our hole there? There we go. Okay, so that can sit on its own. Get some bolts and some Loctite and start zipping this all together. I don't want that preloaded. There we go. That. All right, a little bit bigger of a tool. Torque these guys and then yeah, assemble the other side, I guess. And then I'll go on to setting up our clutching for our baseline with turbo stuff. That gets zip tied up after. They're longer than I expected them to be, but that's a good thing. Can then do this number here. Come on. Oh, love to see it. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, before I forget, or use the brake clean to take off all our old paint marks. There is a torque spec for this. I don't remember it. Put the Nitro Cat on level 1. This guy with this. That's about all I'm gonna do there. That's not the right way to do the torque spec. Zoom, 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 zoom. Oh, no, they're not. They're dialed. Dialed. Fully crisscross applesauced, apart from each other. Mark that face, mark that face.
Up across. This one. Oh, love to see it. All right, and then you have a new washer for your top gear. The stock one doesn't work. I've looked at this thing. This is not right. You want the little beveled side out towards you. The flat goes on the gear. This number. Loctite on here again. I know this is a 10.9 bolt, and a lot of people have somehow broken these off. It doesn't need to be crazy tight. I know there's a torque spec again, and I think in my original track swap videos, I covered the torque spec. It's just not much. You just snug it. The Loctite holds it. There's not really any like outward load on this thing. Just don't go crazy. You don't need to stress crack that bolt and break it clean off. Right there. Boom. Paint mark. Done. I'm gonna take this guy. Oh, this is slick, dude. This is nice. I'm fired up about this. It feels really dark in here today, and I don't know why. You were merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. I'm gonna do another shirt giveaway. Well, I don't really have any shirts. I'm gonna do a hat giveaway. First comment, I'll view them in chronological order. That puts what that movie quote I just said was. Kind of butchered it a little, but it was close enough. First comment with that movie quote gets a free hat. These might not need Loctite. The tapered seat usually grabs pretty good, but I'm doing it anyway just because it's probably a smart thing to do. Sick. These don't need to be incredibly tight. They have a ton of wrap top and bottom. Maybe a whisker more than this, like finger tight, and then like a quarter turn with a wrench is probably all I'm gonna do. If they're too loose, they'll make a little bit of heat on the cogs. If they're too tight, they're gonna make heat. And then you risk kind of snapping it if things grow and expand. Like the Skidoo cases are really bad for growing and expanding. So your chain tension and stuff is really crucial on those. With this, I don't really know what they do in terms of growth, if anything. So like I said, I'm probably gonna go get a 13 mil wrench and just put like a little turn on it, tighten it up a little bit more than finger tight and ship it and monitor it and see how it goes from there. And that'll be that. That's pretty good. I can't get it to touch the case. That looks pretty good. Like I said, I don't have a spec on this. I'm sure if you guys call Brady, he'll give you something to do there. I'm just gonna snug it and we're gonna monitor it. I'm assuming you want this little plastic guy kind of in line with the belt as a little buffer, so if the belt does walk over, it touches this little plastic guide. Do these numbers. Okay. And snug this guy. That has a captured bolt head somehow. Did not look at the back side of it, but that is slick. I'm gonna mark all of these. If you guys are looking for a paint pen recommendation, these Revlock ones are my favorite. They've lasted incredibly long. These are just the go-to. Revlock, go check these out. They have like a paint gel too, if you want to do like a gel thing. I used to use those. And I found sometimes the gel is so strong that it will break free of a threaded side and kind of stay on the other end, and you won't really know because it's all one piece still. So I prefer the paint pen. They've got all different colors. These things are great. Go check those out. That kind of wraps up your belt drive install. Reassemble your other stuff as you go, and then go have fun. Everything all reassembled, both sides. Clutches are back on and torqued. We don't have a belt in it, but that doesn't matter. Remeasured with my same little angle iron bar there, same caliper, all that, same spots, everything. 16 thou. Before, we were at 66 thou or 65 thou. Little tiny discrepancy there. 16 or 15 thou this time, depending on where I measured. We have kind of like a proper lead in now. Even though with this TCL plate, this stuff shouldn't move or twist. It should stay right there all the time in terms of that lead in alignment or twist. With that, this is insanely better. 66 thou is just crazy. That's way out of spec. 16 thou is like, that's great. That's impressive. I was like putting this whole thing in going, I hope this is exactly as they say it is and fixes all this, and we're bang on the money. The angular alignment with like the angle finder, I put it away already, but that was all the same. We're still within 0.2, 0.3 degrees. So yeah, much better.
definitely worth it. This is definitely going to be huge in terms of belt temps, just like Brady and all the guys at SSI say. So that's sick. I'm really pumped. This all came out. It's awesome when you install something like this and the results in the end are exactly what you're hoping for. Like, this is probably as close as we're going to get it with manufacturing tolerances in between the chassis and engine mounts and TCL plate and all that stuff. So this is huge. I'm super pumped. If you guys have a catalyst and you care about getting maximum efficiency, belt life, fuel mileage, all the good important stuff, get one of these kits, install it. There's no negative side to putting this kit on. So with that said, and that all wrapped up and remeasured, that wraps up this video. As usual, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.